The United States electric grid is an unintentionally complex system. It contains 8,652 power plants, 450,000 miles of transmission lines, 55,000 substations, and 3,300 different providers. The grid grew as the U.S. increasingly relied on electricity throughout the 19th and 20th centuries. Its growth was shaped by the forces of privatization and government regulation. The grid has always had three main functions: to generate electricity, transfer it from plants to stations, and finally distribute it to customers. In the US, generation, transmission, and distribution are done by private companies. These providers service people in dozens of states, an entire coastline, or a few counties. Their networks, big and small, comprise our electric grid. All of it is regulated to varying degrees by the federal and state governments.
To some extent, it's controlled by government-controlled or government-subsidized utilities, but there is some degree of federal coordination through the Department of Energy, and there's also a great deal of national-level self-regulation. NERC is really one of the main bodies that actually oversees a lot of the activity. They partner with FERC, which is connected to the Department of Energy, in overseeing grid operators throughout the country and kind of maintaining some minimum standards.
Our increasing dependence on technology has made the grid essential for modern life. This makes it a target for malware and different kinds of cyber attacks.
If the power grid were to go down, that's really the nightmare scenario because it takes down virtually the entire economy around it. Any sector like healthcare are all going to depend on electric power to maintain services.
There is no single company or government service that provides electricity to the US. There is no one target. Instead, we have this decentralized, highly complex web of providers. This ensures that only a highly coordinated attack could take down all of it at once.
We're so decentralized. In a big country with a lot of companies, a lot of distributed systems, and this regional approach, it can be very difficult. One of the things that people who define cyber targets do is look for places where you have that network effect, where you have some degree of centralization. But there is probably no single point of failure in the US.
We should still do everything we can to make the grid resilient and eliminate vulnerabilities. Energy security equals national security.
Our adversaries know this. We saw in 2015 and then again in 2016 attacks on the Ukrainian power grid that have been attributed to Russia. One of the things that the experts think was going on there was a warning signal to the United States that, look, we have this capability, we can get into your electric grid. And that is something that could be used to keep us from taking action that is important for our national security.
Major government efforts like the North American Resiliency Model and CSIS partner with the private sector to adapt to these new challenges. But protecting the grid will continue to be as complex as the grid itself.